positions of hopelessness and helplessness. The government gives them the drugs, builds bigger prisons, passes a 3-strike law, and then wants us to sing God Bless America. No, 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 not God Bless America. God damn America, that's in the Bible for killing innocent people. God damn America for treating us citizens as less than human. God damn America, as long as she tries to act like she is God and she is supreme.
Rapping about poppers, lobsters.
Popping poppers.
Might I suggest you do poppers before eating a bunch of Cheddar Bay biscuits, as they can exit easier.
Well, that wasn't rap, but whatever it was, I
Put an
liked it.
exit and Brexit, go down to the Nexit.
The Nexit?
The Nexit, the next exit.
Oh.
Crystalia doing Eminem.
I want to actually help, but I don't know how.
If you guessed Crystalia doing Eminem, guess what? You won the first part of this episode of Pod Damn America. Congratulations. We're a game show now. I'm so hungover that we're not politics anymore. We're a game show.
You can win prizes now.
It's 7 p.m., and that means it's time for Pod Damn America!
We just stole that song.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Dude, that's all I want to do right now is like lay like a dead fish on a mattress and watch like that type of shit. You know?
Yeah.
Something really
Wheel of
stupid.
Fortune.
You ever watch The Gong Show?
Dude, one of the most depressed days I've ever had in my life. I can't remember where I was, but I started watching like The Price is Right, like on purpose. Like I had to go to the website and watch like multiple episodes. This is bad. It's not meant to be actively consumed.
Jake just on a couch sharpening a knife going, everything's for sale, huh? Everything's for sale.
Yeah, that's how I was radicalized.
Instead of Elliott Smith, your soundtrack to your depression is
Hell yeah. That makes sense that someone would be radicalized by The Price is Right. It would be cool to send like some DSA weirdo on that show to fuck it up, you know?
The abyss of capitalist culture.
That would be funny if someone went on and only like gave the price of cost. You know, like it's like,
hell yeah.
Well, you're gonna say $4.45, but I'm gonna say $1.70.
This is a good idea, dude. You shouldn't put this on air. You should put this in a packet.
Oh shit, are we recording?
You should be pitching this.
Wait, we can do an episode of Pod Damn America where we do like an anarchist, The Price is Right.
Can we do anarchist Shark Tank where you like sell concepts of lives?
I need to borrow nothing. We should totally do that. I don't know. No red lights today on Pod Damn America.
Except that recording light.
Yeah.
Keep it on.
Yeah. Josh Androsky went on The Price is Right on mushrooms a long time ago.
Oh, wow.
That was his first thing. That
Friend
sort
of the show, mushrooms.
Yeah, the thing that popped him off long before he was a radical millionaire leftist public banking guy out in L.A., he took a bunch of mushrooms and went to The Price is Right. And apparently when you go on The Price is Right, they like corral you in like big groups, and then they just come around with a clipboard and they sort of like get everyone's, you know, what's a snippet about you and what's your name, just in case you get pulled.
Yeah.
So they're not thinking about it very much. They don't notice if you're on mushrooms. So he, he goes on and he just lo and behold gets picked to go to the thing, and he just keeps going $1 because he's on mushrooms and it's funny, you know. That's the thing you say on The Price is Right, and then he fucking wins with his $1 thing because it's
ridiculous.
You know, it's a game show. It's a dumb thing. It's a pretty beatable thing, and so he got on, and then the best part is you can see the look on Drew Carey's face when he gets like close to him and realizes what's happening, and he reads his information and he goes, okay, it says here your name is Joshua Androsky and you are a, checks the cards, skateboard rabbi.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, what does that mean? And he goes, well, we're taking religious extremism and turning it into religious extremism. That's kind of the whole bit or whatever.
Advanced psychedelic strategies.
Yeah, that's a classic YouTube clip from before the universe came apart.
Why am I taking from that story that I need to do something with my life? That was not the point.
Like, go on The Price
I'm
is
so
Right
jealous.
or win $1 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you done for yourself lately?
I've never won $1 million. Not one time.
All right.
The news in general is very sad.
It's bad.
That's something to just put out up front.
It's bad, and I have a Halloween hangover. So going into this podcast, that's what you're going to need to know. Halloween's a serious event around this household, and there were all sorts of things flying around this apartment this weekend. I've got your bonus episodes a little backed up, but you're just going to get 2 this week. Hey, that's how we do it. Seems like it's going okay. It's going to be a really good one. I promise the story's fucked up. You know what? It'll drop on Halloween. How about that?
Wow.
You fuckers. Oh, you beautiful people. I'm just kidding. Please don't ever leave the Patreon. I keep meeting people who listen to this show in real life, and it's fucking crazy. It's cool. Do you know if people actually know who we are?
As much? Well, I do.
Some of them. I met somebody at a show last night who seemed very Halloween-y.
Yeah. We've really cornered the goth extremist rabbi market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now they can never unsubscribe or we'll die.
Right. Yeah, that's how it works. Inviting a vampire into your apartment is the first Patreon? Is that how that works? I don't know. Millennial vampire? He's like, I can't come into your apartment unless you follow me and subscribe.
For just $5 a month, I will bite your neck.
I should introduce everyone. I'm Jake Flores. That is Alex Patak.
Hello.
And returning to the show, former winner of the show. We're not a game show.
UFC heavyweight champion.
Max Ogle, welcome back.
What up?
From
How's it going?
our West Virginia episode.
Yeah.
The O-Man.
The O-Man.
Fit him in your mouth.
Damien's the O-Man.
It's all for me, baby.
Got a bowl full of O's.
The first story I think we should get into this week, I'm going to read this piece from the Daily Dot about it. It's short, and it tells you pretty much everything you need to know. It's kind of unfolding as we speak, which rules. So
Breaking news.
There might be more to this as it comes out, but there's this. So there's these like young MAGA guys now. There's all these shitty people that are trying to corner the millennial MAGA dude market for whatever reason.
It's a young
Subscribe to
man's game.
Hate Box.
Yeah.
For only $9.99, you get a box full of hate.
They're
Like Dropbox, but just with like videos of race violence.
oh yeah, Mom, my videos. There's a lot of these guys. The guy with the bow tie is real funny. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but there's one who's like
Mr. Bowtie.
the Fox News like millennial correspondent guy. And I was looking at his Twitter a while back, and he went to see some stand-up comedy in Washington D.C. and was like, I think he like stormed out of the show or something. He was like so angry at like, I think it was like Ray Sonny or somebody who was on stage. That guy fucking rules. But this guy Jacob Wohl is if you look him up on Twitter, he looks like he's got a very shiny face, although you can see his acne in this photo they're using in the article here. That actually explains the shiny
He's using
face.
pomade.
Yeah.
Which is a certain kind of look, as if he's got a sweetie on a bike just out back.
Yeah. Or coming white genocide, or sorry, what's it called? Not regular genocide. The one that the Nazis are into. They think they just call it genocide.
He looks like he said, like, I'd very much like for you to attend homecoming with me.
Right, yes.
You know?
And he has expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has certain expectations that must be obliged.
Yeah, and he's just pumped full of Accutane, and he's going crazy from it.
He looks like he went to pick up his date. The dad did the thing where it's like, let me show you my gun. And he's like, actually, do you want to see my gun?
Yeah, and then they fucking high five and start dancing with each other, and then he goes to the prom with the dad.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah.
You made me like him. I don't think that was the point.
This will be.
No, so this guy's he's fucking great. He has been tweeting all week, like before this even happened. He's been kind of getting owned on Twitter because he has a certain format he likes to type like fake stories in, which is it always starts with the words like, I was at a hipster coffee shop and then this happened. So he likes to do this thing, like that bad comedian thing where you're like watching someone do a joke. You're like, that didn't happen.
The other
You
day,
made up the person.
my dog was hit by a car one time when I was 8 years old.
Yeah.
It's almost like aspirational journaling. Like, if I think that people at the coffee shop are talking about Supreme Court justices positively, it will happen.
Yeah, it's kind of cute, I guess, in that way. It's the secret for them. But he always says, I was at a hipster coffee shop, and yeah, like for example, one of them was all these young women were talking about how much they admire Justice Kavanaugh or whatever.
Right.
And you read it and you go, that didn't fucking happen. A, that didn't happen. B, what do you mean a hipster coffee shop?
I was at a Panera Bread the other day, and all these 28 to 45-year-old women were saying how much they love Justice Kavanaugh.
Yeah, it didn't happen, and it's got this weird like vibe to it where he's like, I mean, the concept of just like hipsterism, I think, is a thing of the past at this point. I think it's very like pre-Trump concept.
You were in a Gage's Aficionados coffee shop.
Yeah,
It's more specific.
I guess when you're like these MAGA guys are just like perpetually in like high school or like prep school or whatever, so they're still thinking in terms of that. It didn't happen. But if you Google his name and then I was in a hipster coffee shop, there's just like a million. I was in a hipster coffee shop and all these black people were talking about how much they respect Kanye or whatever.
Right, yeah.
Which we'll get to him next.
You're next, Kanye. Buckle up.
But this guy basically tried to spearhead like a Me Too allegation against Robert Mueller, the the guy that's the sexiest man alive according to Resistance Twitter or whatever. The guy who's heading the investigation against Trump. And so I guess his like cool move here is he was going to take down Robert Mueller using Me Too.
Use their own tools against.
I think that's the idea, right? So, but the thing is, he's really bad at it. So here's the story. Private investigation firm SureFire Intelligence, the company tied to manufacturing smear allegations about special counsel Robert Mueller, is an elaborate front and hoax created by a right-wing troll. The company was exposed on Tuesday as a fake after it was tied to Jacob Wohl, a right-wing Twitter personality whose name and old finance company Nex Management were found to be referenced in SureFire's website domain data. So they put up this they prop up this shell company, SureFire Intelligence, and then somebody figures out pretty quick that if you just like look at the metadata, it's all rerouted through, and so it's capital N, lowercase e, capital X Management.
That's cool.
That's pretty sick. Okay.
Yeah, it's like a Zanga name or something. Pretty sick. Wohl's denied involvement in several tweets, right? So here's where it gets off the fucking rails. SureFire, however, seeks to present itself across social media and online as any company would. The illusion of the company's status, however, simply fell apart with Google reverse image searches and internet sleuths. Taking a closer look at its claims, a quick look at SureFire's supposed international employee roster on LinkedIn reveals profiles using fake headshots. The profile for its Tel Aviv station chief, the company uses a picture of Israeli supermodel Bar Rafaeli. Let me look up a picture of this guy.
Yeah, give me that. Give me that guac.
Oh, I'm sorry, this lady. I don't know why I thought it would be like a fucking like a weird Israeli.
Oh, she seems nice.
So,
My
yeah.
name is a real woman.
It totally looks like one of
I
those.
support the president.
I want to be friends with you on Facebook.
I'm coming. You can support my camera work.
Oh, I thought you were saying I'm coming with like an accent. I'm coming right now. So that's the first one they figure out. Deputy Director of Operations is in fact a pastor from Michigan. Okay. And the company's quote-unquote financial investigator is Oscar-winning actor Christoph Waltz. Woo! They just used a picture of fucking Christoph Waltz.
Here he is with the bear Jew. How deep does this go?
I know, like, why is there this whole Inglorious Bastards like underpinning to it?
Literal movie Nazi Christoph Waltz.
In a wider bid to support the authenticity of the firm, reporters have uncovered a bunch of old Craigslist advertisements boasting the company was founded by ex-Mossad agents offering investigative services. Okay, so that's why the whole Christoph Waltz.
So is the Mossad like tied into the Jacob Wohl scheme? Is that it?
I think no. I think they're trying to claim like, no, this company has been around for a long time.
Okay.
It was founded by ex-Mossad agents,
This
like
is full of twists and turns.
way back. But obviously they came up with it like last week or some shit. A page on Medium associated with the company pushed 2 pseudo-journalistic stories about the firm tied to suspicious and recently created Twitter accounts for reports that supposedly authored the articles, reporters that supposedly authored the articles. On Tuesday, Medium suspended SureFire's pages. The Twitter accounts are still up, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so the other thing that happened just now, I saw on Twitter, is that somebody found like a picture on LinkedIn of this company's like president, and it's just Jacob Wohl. But his name is Matthew Cohen, but it's just a picture of him with the name Matthew Cohen. So he just changed his name to a Jewish name. And then like he's got like this extremely specific weird Accutane face, so it's like you cannot. He's trying to defend it and go like that could be anyone, but it's
Right.
like so clearly him.
Well, no,
He's
I'm
like-
looking at the picture, and it's a picture, but he's wearing an eye patch.
It's
And now, so he's in disguise.
Hell yeah.
That way he can see both sides. You must be confused. Before you were looking at Jacob Wohl with a long necktie, whereas this is Jacob Wohl with a bow tie.
Well, you are distracted by depth. I can see all.
So, are there any repercussions for just making up viral memes except getting owned online over and over again? I don't see what they would be.
I don't know. Let me look up what he's tweeting about right now, because this is like kind of unfolding as we speak.
You get slammed on Pod Damn America.
Yeah, bitch.
His name's Jacob Wohl.
WOHL.
WHOL.
The human wall.
OHL.
Oh, OHL.
Are you sure it's not like, whoa?
Yeah. Okay. Pinned tweet. Jobs, not mobs, in all caps.
Maybe he's doing an Eminem impression. Like we're doing.
Jobs, mobs, and jobs. Yeah, no, I mean, he's just like, okay, here's a tweet. Very credible allegations are set to be made against Robert Mueller. The mainstream media is scrambling. They're accusing me of offering to pay accusers with zero proof, all caps, and zero evidence. Yeah, I don't know. He's just insane. But, no, it's just yelling about fake news and shit. I don't know, pretty typical shit.
All right. Well, hopefully he'll be kept in line by that other version of him with an eye patch.
Bizarro Wall. I was just at a hipster coffee shop, and I heard all these normal humans, not from the Bizarro universe at all, talking about how cool the Bizarro universe is.
That's a useful skill in entertainment, to just like talk up shit you like.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like agents use that a lot, where they're just like, my client is discussed about in many barber shops.
Yeah.
Could make great entertainment for men 38 to 42.
Yeah. Check out this segue. Speaking of men aged 38 to 42,
Go off.
Kanye West is no longer MAGA, apparently.
Oh, yeah. Get him by his age.
This is, yeah, take that, you middle-aged man, I think. Okay, so Kanye, welcome to Pod Damn America. This is also happening.
We did get a call in from him. We have a scoop on this because this is happening as of like 2 hours ago, where he's just online trying to take back everything he says. He says, my eyes are now wide open and now realize I've been used to spread messages I don't believe in. I am distancing myself from politics and completely focusing on being creative.
Yeah, space, 3 exclamation points.
That was the emphasis I did.
That's the craziest way to tweet.
A new car!
Yeah.
But he's taking it back. I guess the weird part about it is you got to wonder what made him change his mind about, being MAGA Kanye. And the tweet before it, I introduced Candace to the person who made the logo, and they didn't want their name on it, so she used mine. I never wanted any association with Brexit. I have nothing to do with it. So this all comes down to Black Brexit.
Yeah, I was like, what is
the
that?
final straw.
I don't know what Blexit is.
I never intended to do anything that would hurt me own cheeky mates. There's just like a way bigger country you have way more influence over this entire time in the middle of crisis. I don't know why this was it for you.
I never supported a hard border between Ireland and Northern Ireland.
I love prots. I've always loved prots.
Yeah, I like that was too far for him. Not literally like destroying Western civilization, but
It wasn't the children prisons that were kind of cool.
I do just want him to drop like a graduation style like album where it's just all about his praxis, though. Like I just, I want him to get into that. I want to know who he is.
The long game.
It's really weird because all this shit he just tweets like disjointed sentences from part of a conversation he was clearly having, not on Twitter. Everybody knows Kanye's crazy. I guess it's not really that interesting, but
Sir, when will you apologize for poopity scoop poop?
oh god, I forgot about that. But if you go back to right before he started talking about politics and shit, it's just all this Perrier shit. It's just like pictures of when he went on SNL and was in the Perrier bottle costume.
Right, when he was left shark.
Yeah. So I guess maybe this is what did it. Perrier
was just finally owned enough to change his mind.
Maybe he took a long look in the mirror in his water bottle costume.
You should see the mirrors at Kanye's house. They're incredible, folks.
The natural effervescence of Perrier scrubbed his insides clean of all the disillusionment. And now he's returned to his former self.
Pure.
I give you late registration era Kanye.
Oh man, that'd be so cool.
It does suck to have a brand entirely based around how young and cool you are and then slowly get older.
Yeah.
While kids stay the same age. It's a problem that he has. So that's like probably the most fun thing happening.
Matthew McConaughey.
Hey.
Oh God! Listen, the bonus episode's gonna be great this week.
Okay, I thought maybe we could talk about a very important issue, which is, with the world falling apart and Brazil electing an open fascist and
right.
The World Wildlife Foundation announcing that like 60% of animal species have been killed in the last 40 years, and just every mass shootings at synagogues. You need to find ways for self-care.
True.
And that's where this podcast comes in.
Oh yeah.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Hell yeah.
Gonna be a cowboy in a couple hours.
Is it good though? I heard it's really bad.
It's not bad. How much do you like being on a digital horse, talking to digital men slowly down a range?
I don't know how much I like that.
It's extremely cinematic.
Oh.
It's not for people who like want to shoot stuff. It's for people who want
to be a cowboy.
Yeah. They don't want to like do some cowboy things. They want to like bake the beans before they eat them. You know what I'm saying?
That sounds really fun. So you get to shoot stuff.
They want to have a favorite horse and then a less appreciated and neglected horse.
I think when my download finishes, I'm gonna braid my horse's tail.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna braid its tail and its mane. I'm gonna give it pretty braids.
It takes a long ass time. There was a big. Jake, do you know more about the scandal of Red Dead Redemption 2? I don't know very much about it.
Yeah, I looked into it a little bit. I might have somebody come on the show at some point from the game or some sort of game workers union or working group or something. I talked to somebody. I don't want to get the exact name of it wrong or whatever. But
I'm gonna invite Crash Bandicoot on to see what he thinks about it.
I ended up looking into it because for anyone that didn't see this on Twitter, friend of the show, Napkins Blapkins himself, Chris D'Elia, the famous comedian, was sort of tweeting in response to people that were talking about this controversial thing that happened at Rockstar Games, and he was kind of going, hey, what's the big deal? Just don't buy the game if you don't like it. So to understand what happens between me and him, I guess I should probably explain what the controversy at Rockstar Games was. So Rockstar Games obviously had a deadline by which to get out this this huge game, Red Dead Redemption 2, that's going to be like their event of, whatever, this fall, the holiday season or whatever.
In this game, you can drive a stagecoach.
Yeah. And so there's this thing that happens in the gaming industry referred to as like crunch, which is when you're working on a game and then there's
crunch,
this,
you have no rights.
well, yeah. There's this deadline that everything hinges on because the market is so tied to like the holidays. And so like games have been pushed back before. It's not impossible, but it's really, really important apparently that things get put out on this deadline or else they lose all this money and etc. Or the marketing just doesn't work out a certain way. So
money not going at all to the workers, keep in mind.
Right.
Yeah.
So people at Rockstar Games started to tweet out and speak about how the crunch this year was pretty excessive. I think also people were just becoming more aware of labor shit. There's probably a lot of younger people working in gaming and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. People start to realize, this isn't normal that they just make us work like, and the big buzz phrase was 100-hour work weeks. So apparently a lot of people were working 100-hour work weeks.
But I think we should reiterate, you do get the no-octane thrill of driving a stagecoach in this game. It cannot be said enough.
That sucks.
There's just like one guy whose whole life for 2 months was just like doing the shading on a horse's tail day in and day out for 100 hours.
Yeah, just being whipped.
And then designing the whip you use on the horse.
Yeah. Oh, tragic. So people start talking about these 100-hour work weeks, right? And a lot of people in the gaming industry will tell you, yeah, that's like, it's not good, but that's a norm. That's a thing they do at the end of every cycle of producing a game. These games take years to make, and then we have to do this crazy crunch thing. So it starts to raise the question, well, like, is there any protection for the workers against this? Do they receive any sort of compensation? And a lot of people are saying, you know what? No, we're not getting compensated. We're not getting bonuses for this, etc. Or it's just, it's just a bad situation altogether, and some sort of labor,
people complaining,
solidarity.
saying things like, if I wanted this level of crunch, I would have kept my job on the board at Lay's.
Nice. I saw that coming.
Saying things like, if I wanted this kind of crunch, I would have gone to the movie theater and ordered the chocolates that you can get there, which are kind of off-brand, a lot of times just similar to Bunch of Crunch.
Oh, yeah.
And your mind, just in a stressful, dark situation, will produce things like this, just like plays on words, while you just press the Q button to turn down the shading on the tail or whatever.
Yeah. So a bunch of the head writers of Red Dead Redemption 2 came out and said like, hey, just to clarify, the 100-hour work week that's being referred to is only for the 4 core writers. It's only us, and we like working on these games, so no big deal, right? Yeah.
We love cowboys. Just people who want to pretend that they're a cowboy, like, without sleep for weeks.
Yeah.
We have a campfire in the office, and we all take turns sleeping on the horse blanket.
There's more steps than you'd expect.
Your family cares about you. Please stop hanging out with your cowboy friends at work. Come home.
But, okay. So the Rockstar writers are circling the very drivable in-game wagons.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so they're sort of trying to play it off like, oh, no, it's not actually bad at all, right? It's actually just us. We're we're doing the crunch ourselves, no employees to have any gripes about this, yada, yada. But then you hear all these employees tweeting like from their own personal accounts like, that's not fucking true, right? So, so people have just been talking about this issue. Right. And when you don't have any sort of like ideological tools or any like, way of processing this, I think you might end up where Crystalia was, where he was like, he just had this bad hot take, and I think he knew it was bad by the end of it, but he was like, listen, if you don't like the game, just don't buy it.
The market will sort out
Yeah.
$1 billion for this game that's a 60-hour simulator of cooking beans.
Yeah.
Which is not true, as we all know, because we all own the game now.
So I thought it was kind of interesting because I sort of tried to explain to him, like, hey, the reason people are so mad at you is because this is a politically conservative argument you're making. Like, I thought if I could help get like the economic bones
frame it,
put onto this thing, I could
frame it for napkins.
Like, I mean, because what you're doing is you're doing like you're making like a libertarian argument, which is that, like, hey, if these workers don't like working like this, they have the free market of jobs. They can go get other jobs, right?
Get another job at a game development center.
Right.
Just like that.
Yeah, and so we all kind of know that's bullshit, and and you're also making the argument that the market itself will sort of answer the problem of like the laborers' conditions by people who are buying the games not buying it based on some sort of like individual boycott. But it's like, damn well 99% of this game is just bought by, I mean, who the fuck plays video games? It's people that are like tuning the fuck out, or
the most isolated group you could possibly find. People who like cannot remember their own friends' names except what they see online, which is just like MILF Hammer.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm having a hard time because MILF Hammer started cutting. Just like, that's how your life is analyzed for these people.
Yeah, and so I think it's interesting because, like, just as a consumer, I don't think you have that much power. Like, we've talked about this on the show before in terms of, like, whatever, climate change, veganism, all this stuff. Kind of the opinion, hey, be a citizen, not a consumer. Like, you go buy pants. It's like, what the fuck are you gonna do? I mean, there's just like 10 types of pants. You as an individual can't flip over the entire box store, and
you need a tight group that's deciding the pants market. But and this is my real like flavor of the month right now, because I'm reading this book on it very slowly, is the only reason we're having this inherently conservative conversation about how you can influence people's working conditions by boycotting the game or whatever is because it's a completely ununionized industry. It's an industry that's refused to be unionized so they can do things like get a crunch so games come out by November. And so you have not only no power in the workplace, but people don't even have the inkling of an idea of what kind of things they should be asking for. They're just kind of sad and confused. Yeah, well, I mean, who is more atomized in society than, like, gaming people, No. I mean, these are like people that have, like, one-bedroom apartments, but not for a good reason, Yeah,
not because they have a lot going on. These are like entire, GameStop checks, know. The other thing too is, you get people pushing back, like the writers who are like, hey, heck, we love Cowboy dreaming up 100 hours a week. And, maybe there is some, like, maybe a lot of them do feel that way. But 80% of the staff is things like QAs, which is the people on the bottom of the totem pole are still putting in these crazy hours doing, like, the craziest mundane shit you've ever heard of. Like, just seeing where in the game makes you spin around for no reason, or where the glitches are, and like just. Oh yeah. Also, by the way, and I don't know, I kind of can't tell if it's funny or if this happened because of the crunch or because of the outrage or whatever, but none of that shit worked. I saw this great clip of in video games sometimes like glitches enter that weird scary Cronenberg uncanny valley territory. Yeah. There's this great video of the cowboy just like fucking unnaturally twisting all his bones and shit like human pretzel. It's fucking terrifying. So apparently incredibly realistic game too, where like they took so much detail. Yeah, it's how you go to sleep and then your bones melt. Yeah. You're just petting a pony and then you're like, I am the Lord Paimon.
The best part of that glitch is he actually went right before. Not like this.
But yeah, apparently really funny kind of cap to this story. And I might come back to this. gonna put a pin in this for a future episode and try to dive deeper into this whole issue or whatever, and maybe get friend of the show, Napkins Blapkins Crystalia on the show, maybe to talk about it. Because I think by the end of like we had a conversation, I DM'd him about it. I said, hey man, maybe I can connect you to those people and we'll talk about it. And then Halloween happened, and just a hurricane of cocaine flew through my apartment, and so now I'm tired. But maybe we'll get back into it. But he did kind of seem to come around on it, which I think is cool because a lot of people don't. But the funniest part of the story is that the game came out, and a lot of people are divided, I guess I should say. Like, I was reading somebody earlier saying that, like, the guy's really hard to control in the game, and you also have this, like, GTA-style, like, warrant system. Like, if you break the law, you can get a fucking bounty put on you. So this guy was saying that he would just accidentally punch 2 women in the head because the controls are so fucked up, and then it was like, boo! Like, so he just had to run away from the cops for fucking an hour because the controls made him accidentally, punch some lady.
The thing is, back then, that was just a thing you could do to impress people.
Oh, yeah, the police were coming to give him an award.
Yeah.
You've been made the mayor.
No, sir, come back. You're key to the city.
Yeah.
Backup sheriff now.
Yeah. But have you played it, Max?
It's downloading as we speak.
I'm the only one. I am the gatekeeper and the key.
Well, what do you think of the game?
I love it. It's very cinematic. I probably won't finish the whole thing, to be honest. I'll play it probably for like 50 hours or something and then give up. But it's not action-packed, to say the least. It's a lot of rambling, which is really what the lifestyle is about.
Maybe they're going for like a Breath of the Wild type thing or something.
Yeah.
Because that game was like pretty, but like, I don't know. It seemed like so hyped up that when I finally played it, I played it like a year and a half after it came out or something. It was like, wow, there's a lot of just walking in this game,
Oh, yeah.
Is that what gaming is now?
Yeah, it's very metropolitan now. Who needs a car? Just walk.
You just need a horse. Do you have any like hot stories from your cocaine weekend?
Jesus Christ, let me think. Not really. Like Halloween always sneaks up on me, man, and like, I always think I'm gonna mark my words, I'm gonna do it better next year. But I always think, I'm gonna like fucking come up with some crazy ass costume and make it like 6 months in advance and shit. And this was quite a year. I don't know, shit got away from me, and
too busy being real.
Hell yeah. And the damned, I went to that fucking Halloween superstore in Manhattan. It's by like Union Square, and I was looking around, trying to find inspiration, trying to come up with something funny. I thought about buying this inflatable dinosaur costume. They sort of went viral. I think you can see videos of people buying these on Twitter because it was just the thing of Halloween this year. But there's this dinosaur costume that you inflate, and then it's like 10 feet tall, and you're kind of looking out of its chest and shit. And I thought about being an Antifa dinosaur and just like running around Brooklyn with a big scarf over its face and shit. But I don't know, I got kind of bored. And then I found this Border Patrol costume at the costume shop, and it was like disturbing, like just as an artifact of like how normal is all this shit
right.
Now. It was like a joke costume. Like there was like one for a guy.
Spook your neighbors with customs enforcement.
Yeah. And there was like a sexy Border Patrol chick costume, which is all sorts of weird.
The deepest level of S&M.
Yeah. Like
war crimes, bondage, or whatever.
Like fucking Hellraiser shit. Like, that Hellraiser is essentially a story about people that go too far into the realm of like, fucked up porn or whatever. If you read the book Hellraiser, I haven't read it, but it's the first Hellraiser is based on this book that's dives a lot more into the guy who like found the cube, and he found the cube that all the Cenobites come out of when he was on some weird expedition to Thailand, like on some sort of business trip that he saved up for 6 months to go learn new ways of jacking off.
I'm looking to incorporate chains into my jacking.
How can I also turn this into like a national ethnic cleansing sort of theme, for our little scene here?
Long hooks.
But I found this Border Patrol costume, and I thought that it was gross and kind of disturbing, and also in a weird way, like kind of like a funny artifact of like just holy shit, everything's really fucked up right now.
It's gonna age badly.
Well, I bought it because eventually. No, the thing is, I bought it because I was like, if I don't buy this, someone else is gonna buy it,
right.
and they're gonna be an asshole with it. So I bought it, and my original idea...
The hero we need.
Well, I took it to the bachelorette party section, and I just bought a bunch of, like, fake dicks and shit, and I was like, I'm going to be Officer Dildos.
Oh!
But then I brought it home, and it wasn't a very big hit around my extremely woke household.
Yeah, it's still too offensive.
Yeah, which...
Sure. Let's go back to the Antifa dinosaur here, because I am looking to expand this. So, who are these dinosaurs deplatforming? Other dinosaurs, possibly. The beginning of the mammalian takeover. Just a large meteor. They won't let a meteor talk.
Yeah, they're anti-meteor.
Well, what kind of dinosaur is it?
It's a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
It's, of course, a Tyrannosaurus
Come on.
Rex.
I mean, okay,
What
I'm
kind
just...
of
Come on.
question is that?
You never know.
No, actually, I'm just kidding. There were multiple types of dinosaurs. There's like a Stegosaurus.
See? Okay.
What's the kind with the fucking thing?
Ankylosaurus?
Triceratops.
The ones who... Oh, I thought you meant the one that killed Newman.
No, that one rules. The Diplodocus.
There you go. That one is very Antifa.
Yeah.
Diplodocus, the Crystalia doing Eminem dinosaur.
Diplodocus. No.
Diplodocus found in showbiz.
The T-Rex though is the one that like sold out, and there's been all these videos of.
Yeah.
Newman, I should say, if you haven't seen this, one of the fucking Proud Boys that has to go to court right now, one of the ones with like the huge beard and he wears like overalls and shit, had to shave his face and get a haircut for court and put on glasses, and he looks incredible. He looks like Newman from fucking
Jurassic Park?
Yeah, from Jurassic Park and Seinfeld.
Oh yeah, it's Halloween. All the ghouls are out. My mind's in a confused place today.
How was your Halloween?
So I had a friend visit, and I had my weekly show come back, and so after that, I kind of went on like a little bender, just like a 2-day bender, just one bend. Just around one bend, and then you re-examine your life for whatever. So we got hammered, and then went to sleep, and then we woke up, and we did mushrooms. And I just had this really weird day. Yesterday was extremely lethargic and super high. And what we ended up doing, because we were in the park, but it was too cold, and at that point I was a tree, and I refused to be unrooted, but then I was making my wife upset, so we went back to my apartment, and I just sat in this chair in front of the fridge. And I was there for 3 hours, and I couldn't stop thinking that... And I did end up tweeting this out because I thought it made sense at the time, which was that people wanted me to have sex with the fridge. That the fridge, like I was supposed to think the fridge was hot, and I was like, why? Because it has magnets? Is that why? Where are you even coming from here?
Why won't you people just drop it?
And so like I wrote down all these notes to myself, which I don't think could be jokes because they don't come from like a real place.
Oh no, I love those.
But the
Lay
main
'em on me.
The main one is that I developed this character, which is like the fridge cuck, which is the guy you see out in public, and maybe you're at a party at his house, and he's like, I see you've been looking at my fridge all night. What if I told you could have her? Maybe you want to turn around and see her ass, where the vents are. You can unplug her. You can get 3 large men to get a hand truck and move her out and do whatever you want, as long as I watch.
I kind of like it. I think it's a good bit.
You gotta take the salsa out. It's not that good. It's green. It looks better from the packaging, but it actually just ended up being fine, which is why it's still in there. And then just 3 full hours. And the following day just being like, just that's where you're just thinking like, how would you fuck it? Like where? Do you do in the full door? Do you put your dick in like the full door? Do you get inside of the fridge?
Dude, I love like trying to write jokes on acid because that's not complete gibberish. I can see like where your brain was writing the joke, and it kind of works. I always kind of thought it'd be fun to do like a stand-up show where like everyone just does that material that they wrote, or you try to do it on acid, which
they have
hard.
Those. That's a different challenge.
That's
more like performative
Torture.
Torture.
Yeah.
Torture motherfuckers.
I love congratulations on entering middle age because you're just like, I guess I fucked the fridge.
Oh yeah.
Might need me and a friend to handle all this fridge.
Just come have a midnight snack.
And I was talking about like the handles.
The
and the handles
Cenobites
are,
start
like,
flying out of the fridge. Except they're, instead of chains, it's like links of sausage and shit. Because this is actually, you're just hungry.
Oh man, and then your stomach's all fucked up, and I was just like looking at like what part I was supposed to be turned on by, and it's like, is it the handles? Is it the curves on the fridge? Because you want to grab the fridge and get into the ice box. And I also realized the only thing in my fridge right now, because I got married recently and I don't really cook very well, is eggs and champagne. And that says so much about me as a person. It's like, you wake up in the morning, you're making a simple breakfast, and then we're popping bottles. It's time to celebrate.
I don't know. I kind of respect that.
Oh, man. And now that's all I can think about, and I'm glad that I'm not thinking about the destruction of the Amazon rainforest, a quarter of the world's carbon sink.
Yeah, dude. I woke up like the day after I kind of went out and partied, and the mass shooting happened, and then fucking Bolsonaro won in Brazil. Those are like the two things I was able to even like scroll past on my phone, and then I just went back to sleep. This Bolsonaro shit's fucked up.
It's extremely fucked.
Yeah, like the military police are already like breaking into colleges and shit and like burning literature and stuff.
Ooh, yeah. We should get someone who knows things to tackle this baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
It just feels like, rude to be so flippant about it while all this terrible shit is happening to people.
I can't help it. I don't have any serotonin in my head. That's all I've got to say about it at this moment is, damn, that's fucked up. But I'll come back in a week with some like research.
I guess like the only thing, like the place where the first step is going to be is like, are they getting the breakdance kick fighting people to kick the college students and like hurt the women and stuff?
Are they using Blanca yet?
Has Eddie Gordo like killed a child today?
Oh man, they like Blanca down there in Brazil.
Yeah.
He's like they appropriated him as like a soccer mascot.
He's cool.
Because in the game Street Fighter, he's Brazilian.
He's like Gritty, but if Gritty had moves.
No, we got a no platform Gritty. I'm sorry.
So Max is very anti-Gritty.
It's a weird sports allegiance thing, but I don't understand how he's become the face of the revolution.
Listen, I don't want him to have anything to do with sports. I just want him to be Gritty. I just want him to be a monster. That shit's cool.
Don't make it about you. It's him being him, you know?
You gotta let him be Gritty.
He's hairy. He's like coming on to Grimace.
Is he?
All right, if him and Grimace,
I think so.
Bang.
Then what?
Then I'm.
Then that will change some things for you.
Yeah, that'll.
If they form a partnership.
Yeah.
Where they don't even have genitals, they just like rub along their long, curvy, fuzzy bodies.
No, actually, they double team a refrigerator together.
Oh yeah, from the back. You're gonna need a hand truck.
I mean, I don't know. Gritty's fine.
I was gonna be Gritty for Halloween. I thought about buying that. I was just gonna get a Flyers jersey and then those big like bug eye glasses, and then that's it.
Yeah,
the whole costume, minimalist Gritty. You know.
That's interesting because a lot of people are probably going as over the top Gritty.
Yeah.
You want to stick out from them.
I thought he was going to be over by the time Halloween rolled around.
You thought he'd get me too'd.
Gritty, no, we trusted you.
This says when you were the mascot for a minor league hockey team, you kept hitting on the moms.
Good. Okay, the moms. They were going a much darker direction with that.
No.
No,
I just MILFs now.
Honestly, my theory with Gritty is that he's a agent provocateur.
Right.
Because he's too cool. Everyone loves him.
It's like weird that he showed up and became such a big deal.
Yeah.
You know?
He's very like Tiny Rick or whatever, you know.
Yeah. He's kind of like CP USA or something. It's like you're too into being the revolution.
Because we've never seen who's inside of the costume, so for all we know, it's like it's like some sort of like political prisoner that committed like some heinous thing and was going to get the death penalty.
It's a North Korean refugee.
Yeah.
Who's acting out.
They were about to like cut his balls off like Fight Club style, and they were like, okay, and then the government agent comes in and just drops the gritty hat on the desk.
We need you to stop communism on ice.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, is there anything else we should cover before we round out?
Let's see what we got. Here.
I had a pretty good acid bit one time. I think I told it on this show. So I came up with this bit on acid where I was like, there should be strip clubs. I think it was just that everyone should be on acid in the strip clubs, and then like the strippers just go up wearing like 10 coats and shit. It's really hard to take off all the clothes.
You can't.
And the music is just like death grips and shit. And it's just like, ah! Good screaming nonsense.
Yeah, stripping isn't about the fear enough, I think.
It's not about the skill
of taking off the clothes fast.
I want to see form.
And how hard it is with all the like hooks and buttons.
Yeah. I was thinking about that recently. Because I watched so Clive Barker made Hellraiser, right?
Yeah.
But he also made a bunch of weird other shit that has a lot of his kind of creepy undertones to
Did
him.
he do Nightmare on Elm Street? No, it's Wes Craven.
Wes Craven.
Right.
Clive Barker made this movie called like The Illusionists or something, and it was about a bunch of 80s magicians who like, I don't know, they're doing like these crazy magic tricks, and then somehow it turns into murder. I kind of fell asleep 10 times watching this movie or whatever. It was super weird.
That's how you're supposed to watch
The
it.
magician has interestingly both male and female assistants, and they're all super creepy, sexed out, like, you know, barely wearing anything. But I think at one point he kills himself by doing this trick where he's like laying on a table and there's a chandelier with knives on it and yada yada yada, and then they fall on him or whatever. But just sort of made me start thinking, it's weird that magicians are just like, they do like tricks sometimes. They do like illusions where they're like, I turned this ball into a duck, and you're like, wow, that looked like magic. And then the other half of the time, they're just like doing this elaborate self-bondage shit where they're like, okay, so the hammer is going to fall on my balls unless I can get the key out of my mouth. And you're like watching them, and you're like, this is impressive, but this isn't magic.
Who asked you to do that?
Yeah, no one asked you to do it. You're clearly going through something in front of us you want us to see. You want us to fuck your fridge wife.
Yeah.
And for my next trick, talk me out of burning myself with cigarettes.
Yeah. And it's also, and this is my main point, not magic.
Not magic.
It's not magical. It doesn't look like, oh my god, a wizard did that. It was like, wow, that looked really difficult.
Yeah, dude, you're right. It's not magic. It's a mind freak. Okay, so
I don't get it. I don't get Chris Angel shit.
More balls into ducks, please.
Please.
for my next the trick, I'm gonna need the help of my assistant, Ken Moore. Ken Moore lead, everybody.
All
And
right.
he rolls a fridge out.
Oh, yeah.
You guys can cut that one, probably,
Yeah,
right?
all right.
You can cut that joke.
No, I like it.
That's
Nah.
good.
No, I like the fridge fucking theme of our show this week.
Gets me worked up.
Oh boy.
Like the side of the fridge. Put a hat on top. Maybe it's a man hat. Maybe it's a sexy lady hat.
Oh no, I keep thinking about the living fridge from that telling lies, eating sugar video. It's very scary.
She's been all over town.
Oh no. No, scary. I think that might be it for the week. Listen, listeners. Listen. There's one holiday around these parts that is going to fuck up the flow of business on Pod Damn America, and it's Halloween, okay? This is as good as we could get for the week. We had some cool shit in there. I think there was some interesting stuff about the gaming, the fridge fucking, very cool.
Right.
Yeah, great.
That's something that's cool.
Yeah, I think it's cool. Stay tuned. We've got some big guests coming up, and our bonus episode this week I'm pretty excited about. I watched a documentary and went down a crazy wormhole researching what I think to be possibly an actual, like, maybe in the works serial killer. It's fucked up. So check that out. I'll put out a teaser for it and everything, and continue to listen to the show. We'll see how that story develops as I possibly call this guy. I think I might call him. Apparently, he's really accessible. All right. So the
serial killer guy?
The bonus episode is I watched this documentary about like people that are that run extreme haunted houses, and there's like one guy that runs these things that I think legit. I don't know if he has killed anyone, but I think he wants to. And I think he's just running the haunted house so he can
so that he can kill somebody?
So he can just get it out of his head. Like, because he's like clearly torturing these people. And then he's just like, it's a haunted house. That was fun, right?
You signed a waiver.
You do sign a waiver.
Did you see Hellfest?
No.
It's a movie about somebody breaking into a haunted house so that they can kill people every year, and then no one knows because everyone looks like they're about to kill someone.
Or what was it? There was one called like The Houses That October Built. And it's like a mockumentary, or not a mockumentary, but like a fake documentary. Yeah, it's
like a slapstick.
It's an Office-style comedy where they go around the country, going to different haunted houses, and they like piss off some clowns.
It's like Too Many Cooks.
And then they get like directed to this one where they die.
Cool.
It's pretty bad. So when you fuck the fridge,
you gotta tilt it over.
Well, do you?
I usually imagine it in a
your balls
warehouse.
go inside immediately from the cold?
My balls don't always go inside. That's a vicious rumor started by David Spector and the Jewish media.
SureFire Intelligence.
SureFire Intelligence that don't want the public to think that my balls are normal and that they only sometimes go inside when they've fired off all of their ropes and they need more.
Okay, I think I understand drugs and I think I understand what's happening. So this part of this thing you were going through was the concept of fucking the fridge, but the other part of it was all these other people want me to fuck the fridge.
Yeah.
Was that?
I felt like I was being peer pressured to fuck the fridge.
You're having like a paranoia trip.
Yeah.
It's like everyone's trying to get me to fuck this refrigerator.
What was your mom's fridge like? Can you tell me about your mom's fridge?
Icebox in the front, party in the back.
Oh, deviant.
Yeah. Anyway, I usually imagine it happens in a warehouse because I saw one Asa Akira video where she was just getting like fucked in a warehouse, and I was like, if she was a fridge, that's where it would happen. And like the people are like the same amount bigger than her than like a fridge is to a person, so then that kind of played into it, and I kept bringing it up in front of my wife, and I didn't mean to, and then like I'd explain that, but also just like keep ranting about the fridge.
The warehouse seems like a natural habitat for a refrigerator.
There's no rules in there.
Dude, if you're too flippant and you talk about this, your wife is just going to trade in the fridge for like a big cooler. She's gonna be like, not in my fucking house. Get out of here.
What's going to happen is you're going to come home someday and your wife is going to come into your bedroom wearing a refrigerator costume. Is this what you want? Is this what you want?
I guess you're finally happy now.
Yeah.
I have a Hungry Man meal inside. Is that what you want?
And then you eat the Hungry Man meal.
Nom. It's like taped to her chest. Still frozen.
Oh, shit, that rules. All right. All right. Does anybody want to plug anything?
Yes, come to my weekly comedy show now that it's back. Somebody came out last week and it ruled. It's at Vaughn Bar in Manhattan on Sundays at 7 p.m. is when the doors open. It's $5. We get really good comics. Everyone is on this show. I'm pretty sure has been on it. Come check it out.
Yeah, my monthly show is at Fulton Ale House. It's called Side Door Comedy. It's always good. Hosted with Ethan SP. The next one is going to be November 9th. So I think we're going to probably do that at 9 p.m. So yeah, come on out. It's in Brooklyn, New York. Also follow me at Max_Ogle on all the stuff. Thanks.
Trash Town.
Hell yeah. Like, share, subscribe, all that bullshit. You know, you're already here. Follow me.
Call your senator.
Call your senator. Vote.
Get out
Voting.
there.
Vote. I'm so
Ride the blue wave.
tired of getting yelled at by people over 40 years old about
Andrew
voting.
Cuomo needs your help.
You gotta vote, dude. Get fucking charged the blue wave, man. Tasty curls. Oh.
Yeah. Oh, Yoko, come to my live stand-up show in Bushwick if you are in that area. It's called Yoko. It's at El Cortez in the East Williamsburg, Bushwick neighborhood. And we've got another cool lineup in the works. Show is looking to be a banger. It's going to be monthly. It's going to be second Tuesdays of the month, and the next one will be November 13th, I believe. Yes. Okay. That's it. Fuck your fridge.
Fuck your fridge.